So this is something new. For the next 9 days, we are homeless in Mexico. We're going to be looking for insane wildlife, being out here with absolutely nothing but what we can carry on our backs, and hopefully we don't die. But first, we've got to get here. Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm leaving for Mexico. Kind of. I have an overnight layover in Dallas, so we won't actually be getting to Mexico until tomorrow, but working on packing up the bag. This is all I'm going to have with me for the next 12 days, is just my hiking backpack and nothing else. So I'm going to have to pack 12 days worth of stuff, including all my collection and filming stuff, into there. I think I'm going to be re-wearing the same shirt a couple times.
Ladies and gents, please be seated for landing.
Well, I've landed in Dallas Fort Worth Airport. They're playing some music that I really hope isn't copyrighted. But here's my humble abode for the night. Hang on. Here's my house for the night. Shout out if you know this spot. Here's the couch I slept on. So yeah, I have the next 12 hours to spend right here. So get used to the view.
After a night at the Dallas airport where I definitely didn't sleep at all, I hopped on my flight to Cancun, Mexico.
So after some extensive troubles, we've finally kind of gotten settled. But I mean, getting this rental car was a nightmare. We're running on fumes. We've got no sleep. So right now we're just trying to find somewhere to camp. And I happened across this super cool bark scorpion of some kind. And let me just...
Holy cow, that's big.
Kind of get him to stretch out a little bit. He's big.
This, what,
Big scorpion.
5 inches?
Probably four-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood.
A little over 4, I think.
That is really cool. Big guy. So here in the Yucatan Peninsula, our boreal ants make up a huge portion of the diversity. And here we have one of the most iconic, a Cephalotes species, turtle ants. Not entirely sure which species we're dealing here on this here tree. But I'm glad that not only was I able to find this genus, but really rather quickly. We kind of just got here. Joining the arboreal trend, we also have a Pseudomyrmex species. This one doesn't appear too interesting. It's smaller and just kind of that brownish orange color, but still, that is yet another genus that I was hoping to see. So that was interesting. Someone's Mayan grandma kicked us out of the first spot that we kind of scouted out to look at. So getting kicked out of our original spot by Aztec grandma has worked in our favor, because the new spot that we found is significantly better and home to these absolutely beautiful Camponotus cericiventris. But yeah, these guys, they are a species that is present in the Yucatan Peninsula, but I wasn't entirely sure if we'd get lucky enough to find them. But it seems as though we are in the presence of a large colony, because there's a lot of workers. But I've got to kind of pinch them like this because they are quick. These are big ants, kind of hard to get on macro. But man, and these are the goldest ones I've ever seen. I did see these in Costa Rica. If you haven't watched my video from there, you should do that. But these are more golden than the Costa Rican ones, which is really cool. So here's a nest of Dolichoderus bispinosus. They're a little mad. All I did was pull on a leaf, and they did not take kindly to that. And they're just nesting in this, like, whatever this, is this a bromeliad?
Yeah, I think it's Acmea.
Probably. Yeah, some kind of... It's just a little guy, but it is pretty cool. And unlike typically, it's not running away at 1,000,000 miles an hour, which is also cool. Here's a worker of, I'm pretty sure it's Camponotus rectangularis. A cute little orange myrmobrachys that I believe is somewhat closely related to Camponotus planatus. So if you're familiar with those, it's about the same size, maybe a smidge bigger. But of course it's orange and really cute looking. So yeah, pretty happy to see those. It's a new species for me. I've never seen these. Check this pseudomyrmex out. There's a bunch of them foraging here on the ground, which is of course uncharacteristic for an arboreal ant. But you may notice, I believe it's a different species than I showed before. Because of that strong bicoloration, they do honestly look quite nice. Pretty pseudomyrmex. Hopefully you can find a nest of these, because I'd love to see more than just a few foragers. So I wasn't sure if I was going to encounter these here. I thought that they were on the Yucatan, but couldn't say for sure. Oh, I apologize, the plant is blowing and it's going to be hard for me to stabilize it because these are acacia ants, a species of pseudomyrmex that actually live in the thorns of these acacia plants. And combined with that, they're highly aggressive of their host plant. So even if I were to touch it, a bunch of them would come pouring out of these here thorns and probably making me regret my decisions. So not only do the acacia plants protect themselves with thorns, but they also have ants to protect them. It's really cool. I'm very glad that I was able to see it. Guys, just randomly, there's like a parade of Camponotus cericiventris going up this tree. There's just a cluster. It's done. Like, that's the last ant in the trail. But there was a bunch of them. There's like probably 30 to 50 ants just going up this tree. There's a pretty good major. But man, that is so weird. Check this little guy out. Little anole. And when I say little, I mean it. I'm using the macro lens to take pictures of him. But he is pretty cool. So here's an iconic neotropical species that I wasn't entirely sure we were going to find. But that, of course, is Neoponera viosa. Very cool large ponerine. Despite them being basically a poster child for ponerines in the neotropics, their distribution's a little bit iffy in the Yucatan Peninsula. So I'm glad to see them, because I wasn't certain that I'd come across them. Check this out, guys. I just flipped a leptogenus colony. Now they're absolutely freaking the freak out, so it's going to be a little hard for me to show them off. I'll have to probably grab one. There's one with a larva. But this species has the really cool mandibles. The really cool, it looks like they're smiling with the mandibles closed. So we're out here looking for snakes. We haven't found any, but we did road cruise a mantis, and a big one, which I guess if you're gonna road cruise a mantis, it's gonna be a big one. Couldn't tell you what species it is. It's not, you know, horribly interesting looking, but it's a big freaking mantis. That's so cool. Never would I have thought that I would road cruise a mantis. That's definitely new. A very charismatic and characteristic face here in the Yucatan Peninsula is Ectotoma tuberculatum. Just really weird looking, really cool, big, bright colors. Even though I've seen the species before in Costa Rica, I don't think I'll ever complain about getting another look at them, because they're pretty spectacular. So here's something that I'm pleasantly surprised to find. We have Azteca, which, if you remember from my Costa Rica videos, are kind of like a tropical Lyometopum. They really go pretty freaking crazy up here in the trees in the neotropics. And I'm happy to see them. I really like them. Check this out, guys. Yet another ponerine that I'm very happy to see. This is Anochetus. There's only one species that looks like it, but I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But they're a really cool, you know, smaller trap giant species. just with those super long legs. Just really, really, really charismatic ants. I like them. I like them a lot. So it's no secret that Ponerines are really the king, or should I say the queens, of the neotropics. There's just so much Ponerine diversity here. And we are proving that with the 5th genus of this trip, Pachycondyla. Now, it's not an insanely huge species or anything of Pachycondyla, but it's still, you know, pretty big Ponerine, and happy to see it. So, these Neoponera are so cool. I know that down in actual South America, there's some cooler species diversity, but the Osa, they do it for me, man. Check out this Camponotus. If you're familiar with my videos, you may have seen me feature Arizona's native Camponotus ulcerosus on the channel. And well, here's another Camponotus that's kind of got the same idea, with a pretty flat face, although ulcerosus do it better. And also this one is a lot smaller. But it's still a pretty interesting little species. And I'm getting pelted with Solenopsis queens. Like, they're just flying through the window. So you will never guess who I just pulled out of the trail.